to me, and so I retweeted it. It was just like a Christmas WDVE, Happy Christmas, but I did, and I made no effort to look like her. There's no wig or anything, and of course my dog's in it, but I made fun of like Jews and blacks, and I think something about the Japanese. I just threw it in there because why not? And I called it. Like, anyone with an accent that thick is racist. Sorry. You don't get an accent like that. You don't not get rid of an accent like that without some deep Southern pride, and with that comes racism.
People seem to like be upset that she's being called out as being a racist. They're like, oh, you know what? There's a lot of hypocrites out there. If you're as old as she is and you're from the part of the country she is, I mean, you were just raised that way. And I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't. It's still not right. Like,
she's not a teenager.
Yeah, at some point someone said, you know, you shouldn't say that anymore, and they went, nah, I'm good. And then keep doing it.
Yeah. Well, she said that she only said it one time. Just the one time.
Just the once. Well, you can't say, when they asked her, she said, of course. You ever use that word? Of course. And then go, how many times? But just the once.
Yeah.
I'm fuzzy
I remember
on the
because it was
facts.
Christmas. We all had our family gathered around the fire and
She just said, I have an announcement to make. And then just said that word.
N-word. Just dropped it right there. Let's open our presents. Because that was mine.
There was more stuff, right? Like, she said the N-word, but then she also, like, said something about wanting to, like, there was something about, like, a wedding. Like,
She wanted to do a slave wedding.
Slave
She was going to do, like,
she wanted to do this.
a Civil War reenactment,
Civil War
essentially,
era wedding.
right?
She wanted to have like an antebellum sort of plantation wedding where black guys in white shirts, white gloves would be the servants for the wedding, and apparently she described it in a way that was not. I don't know how you could describe it that would be like flattering or
Sure.
you know. But she was clearly, you know, making these jokes and whatever. It's just kind of racist jokes. And
who doesn't?
But
like, we all make racist jokes.
Right.
Oh, you've agreed. Okay, good.
But no, I'm not saying like we're all above that. It's not. That's not the point. A company can fire you for whatever they want. They can be like, you know what? Hey, sorry about that, but now that everybody knows, like, we don't want you face on the product. You know. And then she made it worse. I mean, she just dug in the mud, and she kept going on and crying in front of Matt Lauer, making it worse. She looked like Pagliacci up there, like this crowd like, bawling on TV, and said, "I is what I is." All right. Yeah. Now that is the punchline to a really racist joke. Apparently.
So she's a genius. She's a comic genius.
She's still working it out. She's still working out material. You know what I mean? Like, wherever it is, where there's a teary apology to the nation, you know, why not? Just throw in some
I'm gonna do
nuggets.
the apology, but then I got a couple of things I worked on.
I got a tight 5 to work out. I'm trying to do Letterman.
It seems like all of her stuff seems fine, and then she makes it worse. Like an antebellum wedding doesn't seem like the worst idea ever, but I don't think I would attend that wedding and be like, wait, why aren't all the servers black? I'm not eating this quiche.
This is not authentic.
Yeah. If the servers were just hired caterers, it'd be just fine.
If I went to like an affair, like an affair like that, like a wedding thing where they're serving me and they're all black and they're all wearing white gloves, I would just be taking food and drinks, going, "Here's a tip. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's a terrible
I'm
party.
sorry for us white people, what we've done." Like,
I create a wedding railroad, and I would do
get them out. I would get them out
of there.
and and bring in whites, you know, to take their jobs, so then give them better jobs.
Yeah. How awkward would it be that party be where you're just sitting around like, have you noticed there's like a slave thing going on?
Yeah, well, you think that? How do you think the one white guy feels? Like the awkwardness of just like
the wigger on the crew, like the Eminem one.
Like, he's just trying that hard. They're like, you really need to get out of
If
here.
I had one chance.
Matt Ronger, Liza Schlesinger, Chris Porter, Bill Crawford. They're all going to be on stage with Amy Schumer tonight at the Buy-In Theater.
That's so funny.
It's an 8 o'clock show, and then we're all headed to Rex afterwards. It's going to be a great time. There's like a dozen single tickets. So if you don't need to be like poking your buddy in the ribs laughing and you just want to be there, you can still buy a couple of those tickets. They're available at DVE.com or the Buy-In Theater box office. Quick break and we'll come back with all these guys. The DVE Comedy Fest is tonight. Buy-In Theater. And it's we're so glad to get you guys in here to be able to do this. And I know that it's bright and early, and then you got to go home and do that afternoon crash later today.
Sure.
Yep.
Which is always a fun thing. Does your equilibrium get screwed up and then you stay up all night?
Yeah.
Kind
Basically.
of.
Almost, yeah.
Anymore, it's like just so par for the course that it's like I don't even think of it as messing up my day.
It would be weird if we didn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like these. I call them snow days because you do stuff for like an hour and a half in the morning, and then you come back and then you can
crash all day.
crash all day and feel like you did something. Like, oh, why are you so tired? Oh, I had to get up for an hour and a half at 8.
And talk.
And
While
talk.
sitting.
The toughest is when, and we all know this, you go into a city and they're like, we've got some press for you and you should get up at 5 because it's the early show. And then you go do that and then there's like radio and then other TV. And then they want you to drink coffee so you're awake. So it's 9 a.m. and you're somewhat wired, and by 11 you've just crashed.
Yeah.
Like that's your bedtime. And then you wake up at 6, check your pulse, you're like, I gotta get to the club and have my free meal. And then it like starts all over again. It's our insides are melting.
Yeah.
Like it's a horrifying existence.
But so you work out to combat that. I saw you were on TMZ yesterday.
I was, isn't that weird?
How did that happen?
They caught me coming out of. I'm going to say this, out of boxing, not the gym. I did
Hey.
boxing. They caught me coming out, and one of the guys that had the camera works at the Improv, and so we started talking. He's like, "This is for team." I was like, "Turn the camera off," because I had no makeup on, so sweaty. They're like, "No, it's cool," and I was like, "All right, fine. I'm not famous enough to be like, turn the camera off." Like in a way, you're like, "Leave the camera on."
Yeah. Me? I've been chosen?
I've been chosen.
At least they actually genuinely found you. I like it when they have obviously been set up. Like, it's like, oh, I just came out of the store that's obviously been closed for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
When the fake celebrity, yeah, how did you know? Most celebrities call TMZ. They were just hanging out on Melrose, and I came out and I made some remark about my awful outfit, and then I started ragging on the boxing guy that I can't say train, that I pretend to not die with. He's Nigerian, and he keeps a Bluetooth in his ear the whole time. And I was just ragging on him because, like, it's so fun. It's like such an older black guy thing to, like, always have your Bluetooth in. And then I was joking. I was like, you've been to a Magic Johnson movie theater.
Yeah.
Like, they have them in all the time. Like, no one's calling you.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of jumping rope. You have your Bluetooth in. Take it off.
Don't you think he keeps that in? Like, try to knock it out.
Try to knock it
right
out.
Because nothing would, I want to hit you so bad
So
with that Bluetooth.
Moved on.
Yeah, I don't think Mickey endorsed that.
No.
Not a bit in the.
It's a weird thing. The Bluetooth it's enough. First of all,
No, but you can see all those reality stars definitely trying to get TMZ to be wherever they are, like using reverse psychology. Like, I'm going to the cupcake store later. Don't be there.
Don't
all right?
do it.
Don't
Be
be there
there.
outside with cameras.
Yeah.
Don't be there
Don't you
outside my
take me.
private residence
Don't
that
you
no one
dare
knows.
shoot my left side,
There's-
because that's my best side.
There's a restaurant in Holly, or I think it's Beverly Hills, called the Ivy that like all the celebrities go to, and all TMZ knows to camp out there. So anytime a celebrity's coming out of there, and they're like, "I wish they'd leave me alone." It's like, go to a Sizzler. Like, go to the Ivy's famous for what you're doing.
Right.
Eat like
you know
a
what I mean?
person. Yeah.
Or go one of the millions of places that don't allow pop.
Exactly. Yeah. There's so many. Yeah.
They absolutely. I mean, it's so funny because America's. I mean, most people don't know unless you look. They absolutely called them. There's no way they would know that Kanye West is coming out of a furniture store at 2 p.m. in like some random part of Hollywood unless you called. Like they can't be everywhere.
I hope they don't find me outside a bodybuilder's gym in Silver Lake. It's on Hyperion Boulevard. I go to the gayest gym like ever, and like I want to get that rumor started. You know what I mean? Just so I come out of there and like, oh, what? My uncle works out here. I dropped him off.
Wiping your mouth off coming out.
Wasn't gonna go that far, but
Sorry. I think it'd be fun though that the TMZ guys, like, I wanted to, for my dad's birthday one year, to hire photographers to just follow him around and make him feel like an important person.
nice.
Aww.
When he was like coming out
Like
of
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
There is no
and
film in
then
this camera.
Along Came Polly.
Yeah, I hired the
documentary.
guys. That's
Oh
right.
my god, I remember that's
I couldn't do that to my dad. He would literally just start fighting. He'd, why are you taking pictures? Come here. Come here. We're doing this.
We're doing. Was gonna hit you?
You know, my dad, I think, would. If photographers
Come here.
just come around, he'd be like, what is your deal? Come here.
Oh my god.
I had to go to the hospital with my dad yesterday. He's having surgery coming up, and we're hanging out there and talking to the doctors, and he just basically lied to the doctors constantly because he thought he was under indictment. You know, he's got to have like a serious surgery coming up, and so they're trying to find out everything about him. And they're
He
like,
says the N-word.
How many? No, they're like, okay, and how much?
That's
do
what
you,
he called his elbow. So
In a loving way.
he's like, they're like, how much do you drink? And he goes, oh, two.
They're
I
gonna
had
know.
A
two beers
snifter
in
of port
the
at
last
Christmas.
6
A
weeks.
snifter.
I'm like, Dad, don't lie to them. They're actually trying to determine,
Yeah.
like this isn't like an anesthetic thing. They need to find out. He goes, I would say, and he said this with like a straight face. He goes, I would say there's maybe 4 times a year that I have as many as 6 beers. I'm like, are you kidding me?
You're hurting yourself.
Yeah.
It's like lying to the dentist. You're like, I floss all the time.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm looking at you.
He's like, whose mouth?
Yeah.
Not yours.
And I don't understand that like idea. He thought he was under indictment. And the guy's like, when'd you quit smoking? He goes, 15, 20 years ago. I'm like, it was not that long ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was like 9 years ago.
Oh, he was scared.
No, I think he was. Like that's your inclination though, is what a doctor asks you when you do bad stuff, like at the dentist. Like you said,
Yeah.
you immediately want to be like, no, I'm fine. That'll make me healthy, right? If I
Yeah.
lie about
I think on the off chance, because we all, I guess, I don't know, maybe as comics, like, we're kind of BSers, and then we think everyone else is BSing, so we think if we BS to you, then it'll be like a sliding scale, and you'll be like, okay, maybe it is okay, maybe what I was thinking isn't so bad, and you are okay. Mm-hmm. Maybe
I
that's
don't
what we're
think it's a
doing.
generational thing. Like, old people don't trust doctors because when they were young, doctors had no idea what they were doing.
Right.
They're just like, oh, you have a cold? Well, then here, eat wood chips. That'll
Right.
totally help you.
Well, and we're like honest about our intake, to each other. Like if I see Liza, if I see Chris, and we're like, oh, you're effed up, dude, you're drunk. We'll be like, yeah. I'm drunk.
So drunk. Very
If you
proud.
said that to like your mother or father, like I don't get drunk. I don't never get drunk.
Right.
It's like you're hammered, mom.
Yeah.
How much wine have you had?
Dad, why don't you have some water? I don't need water. I just
You're
want
not my
another
dad.
scotch.
I told my doctor like how much I drink, and she was like, "Well, you should probably drink less than that." And I was like, "Well, I'm a comedian, so I'm on the road." And she just kind of laughed and was like, "Oh, I understand then."
Yeah.
Like almost like, "No, it's not okay to excuse it."
If it numbs the pain, it's okay.
Yeah.
If it makes it worse. Oh, God, I had a night like that the other night. I've talked about this on stage. It's one of those nights where you drink so much and you literally wake up and you're surprised to be alive.
Yeah.
Like you wake up, you're like, oh my God. Like immediately throw up and you're just like, oh, I gotta get to the airport. And I went and I sat in the lounge and they had cereal. And when we're talking about the cereal, because it was like bran, which is not what you want, but they only had whole milk for the cereal. If you haven't had a glass of whole milk as an adult,
want
like
some
it'll
gravy
F
on
you
there,
up.
too?
It'll knock you on your
Curry
butt.
have his yogurt.
like
Forget your hangover.
They just had a cow, and you just had
Pretty
to
much.
milk it into the bowl.
Just me licking icing. So if you ever want to, if your hangover
Just
ever
a
hurts,
dollop of frosting on your mix it up.
happy birthday, you loser. If you ever want to forget your hangover, just have a glass of milk and all of your headache worries will go away right out of your butthole.
Just saying it
FYI,
caused
That was my set for tonight.
intestinal distress.
Oh my God.
You're like, now I have to write new stuff.
None of
My
I
whole
have
set
to-
is chugging a gallon of whole milk on stage.
I'm part of the Jackass.
Then booting all over the place.
Every time, they always in the news or on like one of those like the extra TV shows, they'll tell you about a new way kids are getting drunk, and I never believe any of
Yeah.
them. They're like, people are soaking tampons in vodka, and I'm like, nobody. I don't think that's
No.
happening. Butt chugging.
Butt
People are
chugging.
butt chugging.
Butt chugging.
That's a thing.
It's an
4
enema,
guys
right?
butt chugged, and they videotaped it.
Yeah.
That's super good.
And it's not everyone. It's those guys.
Right.
They're
One guy,
Yeah.
crazy Kyle or something, did it at a frat house. They're like, that guy's the craziest,
Yeah.
because he's that guy that is so starved for attention, he'll like drink a cup of chaw or something, like a cup
Chaw.
of spit,
Yeah.
that the whole frat club, spit in. And then it hit the wires. Like,
Yeah.
that was never something people were like,
Slow
this is
news
something
day.
we do. Do you guys want to drink it? Or do you want to do this new, cool way of ingesting vodka?
Put this in
My
your
brother
butt.
got some
Put it in my
surgical
eye.
tubing.
Yeah.
Get the
my brother's
bedpans out,
yeah.
guys. We're gonna get trashed.
My mom's a nurse. This is gonna be great. I feel like I mean whether or not people do it, like suburban kids in middle America are very bored and
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
And that's where this stuff comes from. You hear about like all these ways kids are dying. Because when you're 15 or 16, maybe your parents aren't home, things get weird. And that's where these things, it's not from like functioning adults, like as weird as we are, we're not like thinking of ways to imbibe alcohol that involve our buttholes. Like at the same time I said
I have
buttholes.
one in right now.
Sorry. It's a suppository.
But I feel like there's way more drugs in there. When I was like 15 or 16, there was a kid a kid that smoked pot in the woods, and then maybe a kid who had a bottle of Rush, like this inhalant that would like turn your face like red,
Whoa.
and that was it. And now there's like
You went to a cooler school than me.
what did you have in
We
KC?
had the kid that had. Well, I was way suburban, like rural suburb. We had the black kid, the Asian kid, in our like.
Yeah.
That was that.
Just the one.
It was that Caucasian. So yeah, we had the group of kids that would smoke. But we did all that stuff too. Like we never did inhalants.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't do it.
Well,
They were available.
Right.
I grew up. I grew up in Portland, Oregon, which is also very Caucasoid. But like, the marijuana quotient was through the roof. I had friends whose parents sold it. My buddy's uncle was the guy who, when like Bob Marley and the Wailers, Grateful Dead, any of them came to town, he's the guy who would bring potato sacks of weed backstage. So it's like it was just everywhere. Like I think I first got high when I was 9. I'm not kidding. I didn't keep going. I'm alive now.
Yeah.
But like, it was like that's when I tried it, and it was just like, oh, okay, I should wait.
Oh my God.
You know,
You gotta try stupid stuff when you're a kid.
Yeah.
'Cause otherwise you're gonna do it as an adult when there's real repercussions.
Yeah.
Like the guy in Detroit last week, did you see that story who took shrooms? And he took too many shrooms and he literally tripped his balls. I mean, he ripped off his.
Oh my God.
That's a true story.
Oh,
I mean, it was like all
Wait,
over
how
the-
old was this guy though? Wasn't this
He was
guy like in his
41 or
40s? Yeah,
42
you've been
years
through
old.
too much by then.
Have you?
Well, no, it's not that so much, but you
Yeah.
don't know how to handle that buzz.
Really?
Yeah.
And when
No.
you're
Well, your
41,
mind comes
too much.
undone. There's ideas that are fixed in your head, and when it all starts to come apart,
You rip your
then
scrotum off.
you rip.
this
your
is the
chest
root
off.
of all evil
Oh
in
my
my
God.
life.
Yeah.
Because I know when
Yeah.
they sell pot, it's always like, dude, this will make you feel like you're flying. This will make you feel like your eyeballs are made of milkshake. Dude, this will make you rip your own nutsack. Clean off.
Give me that one.
Like, who's into
Do you
that?
think I bought? I think I bought the good one. I think I bought the right one. Just the worst. The guy who needs a wingman for weed so bad.